What's up, guys? AWO here. So I just saw the Batman yesterday. Making this video today. It's Friday. I saw the Batman yesterday. Uh, I loved it. Maybe on par with Dark Knight. It's the best Batman movie out there right now. Uh, yeah. I highly recommend you seeing this. On this video, well, this video is gonna be spoilers. This is not a review video. This is a theory video. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about here. If you haven't, don't watch this video yet, and watch this video after seeing the movie, because once you see the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. That's why I have the Batman spoilers here and stuff. So let's get into what my theory is, or possible theories. So for all the people who've seen the movie, we know the story behind this, right? Why the Riddler is going after corruption in Gotham. How the people in power have been hiding things from the truth, right? The truth. We know why. The mayor that's running for re-election. Why he went after target him. The corrupt district attorney, the corrupt commissioner, and Bruce Wayne, and then obviously Batman. We know why. And the Falcone, obviously, and the Falcone is enough. It's because if you notice what happens with the orphanage, Riddler, also with why Thomas Wayne was trying to shut a certain reporter up because of his wife. If you know what, because you know Martha Wayne, his story in this movie, you understand why Thomas Wayne went to maybe lengths he didn't want to go to. He wasn't a saint, but understood why he went to there to protect his credibility because of Martha Wayne, to protect his family. He didn't want that stuff to get out because it could affect his career, and he kind of made Falcone to intimidate this reporter. But it kind of went too far. Obviously, the reporter got obviously murdered. Was hit. Falcone sent a hit on this reporter, and this reporter. And then Thomas Wayne, he didn't want the person to get hit or whatever, right, to get killed. He just wanted to make this quiet. Hush, 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 hush. Make it quiet, like hush, right? Hush, right? But Thomas Wayne was going to go to the police, right? As Alfred said, Thomas Wayne was going to go to the police. But Falcone made sure that didn't happen, and Falcone was apparently responsible for the murder of the Bruce Wayne's parents, and that's the whole thing. What happens with Bruce becoming Batman, and in this movie. Now, what is so interesting about this? As I mentioned, Hush. Okay, who is Hush? If you're into Batman, you know Hush. It's from the comics, and if you know who Hush is, it's Thomas Elliot, former former childhood best friend of Bruce Wayne, then become bitter enemies. He's always had his idea of being jealous of Bruce because what Bruce is living like as Bruce Wayne, not as Batman. That's what Hush or Thomas Elliot wants. He wants the notoriety, the fame, the money, the good life. Because he believes the way he grew up, he deserves it more. Because while the Waynes love their son, Elliot's parents weren't exactly good people. Like his father was a drunk and abusive. His mother was kind of needy, but didn't let him be himself. Stuff like that. But that's in the comics. Now in this movie, we saw Hush, and we saw the news reporter who was getting rattle on Wayne and all that. Named Edward Elliot, who was the Gotham Gazette. Now Edward Elliot, Thomas Elliot, in the comics is the great grandfather of Thomas Elliot. And the Elliots did start off, if you know the comics, did start off the first ones to have their own newspaper, Gotham's first newspaper business, the Gotham Gazette. And Edward Elliot was the founder of that. The three most prominent families in the comics were Cobblepot, Elliots, and Waynes. How they're the ones that made Gotham flourish, help it flourish, even though it's right. But in this, you had the Arkhams, and the Arkham's own Arkham Asylum, right? But Edward Elliot was gonna blow up the whole thing, ruin everything for Thomas Wayne, right? And you see the word hush money, right? Under to keep somebody quiet. That didn't work. That wasn't gonna work, so they eliminate him, right? And is that a hint that we're gonna get Thomas Elliot in the future Matt Reeves kind of stuff? No, remember Matt Reeves is thinking of a trilogy, and there's other stuff coming in the works, like Arkham series, Cobblepot, and possible other stuff. I think it's gonna be other stuff, Selena Kyle stuff. No, it's a possibility, but I'm a huge Hush fan, but I'm gonna say this. I think what they did in this movie, now spoilers, guys, they kind of combined Hush and Riddler into one here. They combined Riddler and Hush in here. Because Riddler was this mysterious guy in the mask. We had different names. We had Edward Nash, and who's but I'm still considered an alias, but other names. He was the one going after corruption. He's the one who was an orphan, like an orphan who, if you know, in the end of the movie, he kind of envious of Bruce Wayne. How Bruce Wayne was like, when his parents were murdered, everybody felt sorry for him. He was getting notoriety, while he and the other orphans were treated like shit in orphanage because the renewal fund was being driven by corruption, but the mobs, the Maroni, the Falcones, and others, and that money was not supposed to go to them. Obviously, it was supposed to go to help up Gotham and stuff, but an orphanage. And that's Riddler's motivation to go after corruption, and he saw Batman as someone he could team up with, and how he sees Batman trying to fight off corruption too. But like Riddler sees that I'm doing basically what I'm doing, but he wants to team up with Batman, and Batman's like, but Batman denied all that stuff. We'll get to that. But yeah, they kind of combined Riddler and Hush into this. So I don't think they might introduce Hush. I don't know. They might introduce in the future. I don't know what they have plans for. I'm not a mind reader. I can't go into Matt Reeves' mind what his plans are for future Batman stuff. But I think they really did combine Riddler, Hush into here. Because I see some similarities here. What they could have done is change Riddler's origin. They could have Riddler be perhaps my timing might be off here. What if Riddler is the son of Edward Elliot, and he was they changed the whole thing to become Edward becomes his real name is Thomas Elliot. What if Edward Nigma or Nashin, the Riddler, was named Thomas Elliot just in the Matt Reeves universe? I know a lot of fans, purists might not be happy, but I like Hush from the comics, but I'm okay with this. What if Riddler's real name was Thomas Elliot, and he was the son of Edward Elliot, who died? Or his mother possibly died. Went to the orphanage, saw what the Waynes, what was happening in the orphanage, and all that stuff happened, and he grew envious of Rain, because they kind of like Hush is in the comics. Thomas Elliot envious of Rain, and that's his own motivation to go after corruption and stuff like that. And Bruce. So what if they just changed his origins a bit? Riddler's real name is Thomas Elliot, the son of Edward Elliot. What if they did that? They changed that, and and Edward Nash is going to be alias, because it wasn't fully confirmed that's his real name in the movie. It's one of the many ID cards he had, right? It's like the detective or the cop asked him, what's the real name? Because they showed him the ID cards. Like, you asking me, officer? And he saw Edward Nash, and he saw another name I'm not familiar with. So what they could have done is basically change Riddler's origin a little bit here, make him Thomas Elliot, right? And in the Matt Reeves Batman, have him become Edward Elliot, and then he goes to the orphanage, and the orphanage is the mob or other corrupt officials are taking advantage of the renewal, whatever. Right? Because that's what happens. They turn on Maroni. They make sure Maroni got busted, so they can get more from that renewal fund, right? So they could take more out of that, obviously. So they could have done stuff like that. Just change Riddler's origins a little bit in this movie with his if they had a real name. Obviously, we don't know. Obviously, they didn't do that. But the possibility of Hush in the future, if I did Hush in the future, if they do to actual Thomas Elliot, what they could do, my belief is, have Thomas Elliot come back to Gotham. I don't know if you want to make him a surgeon or like a surgeon, or takes over the Gotham Gazette. Have this mysterious figure causing all that shit again. I know it's no similar to the Riddler, but it's mysterious figure. Or you could build him up, have multiple Batman villains, build up the other Batman villains until the final movie, the third movie. I know the Joker. Spoilers. The Joker's in this. We saw at the end. Saw at the end. You'll see at the end. Joker's. What happens if they have Joker and all these other villains build up, and then finally see Hush, Thomas Elliot use these villains to his advantage, causing all this shit, and Batman's like, there's someone else at play here. And you see Thomas Elliot in the back, or Hush in the background, and you also see him as Thomas Elliot, a surgeon, befriending Bruce, coming back in Bruce Wayne's life. They catch up and stuff. So I don't know. They could do something like that, and then to find a big reveal, Hush is like, do you know? Hush is like, instead of Hush hating, they could change his parents around. Instead of Hush hating his parents, he could say, I love my father. My father died because of your parents. He could go for a whole revenge thing there, stuff like that. But tell me what you guys think. I think Hush and Riddler's combined here. But yeah, so like, share, subscribe down below, and I'll get my review out. Take care, guys.